people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Well, good morning. Welcome to AARP Illinois' special virtual event. I'm Teresa Jones, Associate State Director of Advocacy and Outreach. I'm here with Courtney Hedderman, Senior Associate Director of Advocacy and Outreach. Together, we're your Fraud-Fighting Fraudlettes. We are thrilled to be bringing you the latest on frauds and scams, and ultimately arming you with the information that you'll need for prevention and reporting if you're ever a victim. We're excited to bring this month's topic, holiday phone and gift card scams. As the holiday season approaches, it's important to be aware of holiday scams that can affect anyone. These scams, they can lead to significant financial losses and spoil your festive spirit. Our goal is to help you recognize and prevent these scams that will ensure you and your loved ones to stay safe. Now, our conversation will hopefully provide an overview of common holiday fraud schemes, red flags to watch out for, and practical tips for prevention. In this discussion, we're going to cover some common holiday fraud schemes, such as the typical scams that occur during the holiday season, including those that involve phone calls and gift cards. We're going to talk about some red flags to watch out for to help identify the warning signs that indicate a potential scam. Practical tips for prevention. We're going to discover some effective strategies to protect yourself from falling victim to these scams. By understanding these elements, we think that you can safeguard your finances and enjoy a worry-free holiday season. But before we get started with our discussion, I'd like to remind our Facebook and our YouTube viewers that you can ask questions and share your comments in the social media feeds. We'll do our best to address as many of your questions as possible during our conversation. So to kick things off, let's start with some questions. And if you don't mind, Courtney, I'll start with the questions.
Sure.
The first question, what should we do if someone asks us to pay with a gift card?
Right. Thank you. This is a great question. And I think a lot of people get solicited to pay for something in a gift card. There is absolutely no, and I mean no legitimate business, organization, entity, government agency that will ever ask for payment in gift cards. It is something that's very common as a scam. So if someone does, it is a scam. That is fraud that's trying to happen to you. So if you receive this request by phone, hang up the phone. If you receive an email and they're asking for payment in a gift card, delete the message, right? Report. Please, if in fact you do happen to do this in the future, consider please reporting that you have done this and given a gift card payment for something. But the absolute thing I want everyone to remember is that no one should ever be asking for payment in a gift card. So don't do it. Just don't do it.
Okay, so you mentioned something about the phone earlier. So what about phone scams during the holidays? And how do we protect ourselves from these type of scams?
Right. So yes, this is a very common scam right now. And I understand we are in the holidays. Everyone is in the season of giving, which is wonderful and beautiful. And there is nothing wrong with being giving at this time of year. However, you obviously want to make sure that you're giving to an appropriate person, an appropriate entity, that it is exactly who you want to be giving your money to, right? There's no doubt scammers and frankly criminals, that's who these people are. They're criminals. They are pretending to be a well-known company or a charity or an individual who's asking for not only your personal information, they're wanting to get information to get to the ultimate goal, which is to receive money, to get money, to steal identity. And they want that immediate payment as much as possible. So this is extremely common at this time of year. So my advice and the best way to protect yourself ultimately is to verify if you're getting a call, right? So you get the phone call that says, "Hey, I'm so-and-so," and they're talking to you, they're getting personal information from you, and then they ask for payment. Okay. One, obviously we want you to not give any personal information, and two, not to obviously give any payment. How you identify, is this really real or not? Because we get solicited a lot, right? So how you identify and what you need to say is this: you know what? I don't know if you're really a real person that's talking to me right now, that this is legit. And you know what? Thank you very much for the call. And I will think about maybe giving, to you charity or to you organization or to you business. And if I choose to, I will call you back. I will call you. And then you verify the caller's identity. You verify the business or the organization or charity, whoever it is, by contacting that company or that organization directly using a trusted phone number, a trusted email, a trusted website, all of those things. You go directly to that entity through those channels, not by doing and giving information and money over the phone in that first initial ask. So take the extra step because you want to make sure that it is a legitimate organization or charity or whatnot. So best advice, either don't answer the phone, all right, because if you don't know who the caller is, or two, if you are and you're talking to someone, don't give out that personal information, don't do any immediate payment, and verify the caller at a later point.
That's some good information. It's a lot, but it's some good information. So are there any additional tips that you might have for avoiding scams?
Oh my gosh, there are a lot of tips. So I warn everybody, so they'll get the paper and the pencil, right? There are lots of things to do to really just be very aware of the scams and how to protect yourself. So one is we're getting not only we're getting phone calls, we're getting a lot of emails. I mean, people are doing a lot of online shopping. They're getting a lot of online emails, again, asking for donations for organizations. Like we just a short bit ago, it was Giving Thursday, right? So many organizations were, soliciting for, for donations. And so you still might be wanting to give to somebody at this point, and you might be getting those types of solicitations. Verify an email address or a link before you click on it. So again, remember how you do that? You are hovering over an email address to see if in fact it's a legit email. And really, I think the best way is if you're not sure, don't click on anything, right? And make sure that you're going and verifying, and I just made reference to this, but verify that these are, a charity organization or whatnot, because you're taking the extra step to reach out to them by that trusted phone number, by that trusted email or website, going and doing that separately, not from just an email solicitation that you receive. So make sure you do that. So make sure those emails and links are not clicked or not checked, if especially you don't know what's really from them. I think securing payment methods like using credit cards is really important at this point. So again, no gift cards, right? And, I would not use debit cards. It is not insured through the federal government. So use a credit card if you're going to send money to and give money to anybody, not wiring money and things like that. Those just mean that they're no longer traceable and that money is just gone. So using credit cards, you have a security layer of protection. So use those credit cards.
So can I ask you a quick question? Because you alluded to that. You said that about debit cards. I think a lot of us sometimes we feel like, well, it's a debit card. It's hooked to it's linked to our bank account. So if something happens, our bank would help us figure that out. But that's not true, is it?
Yes, they would help us. However, it's not secured in the same way.
Yeah.
In fact, you use it as a credit card. And so you can use your debit card, but use it as credit, not as debit.
Gotcha.
So don't be putting those pins in, like when you're putting your credit card into the machine, right? And then you're pressing your PIN number. Don't do that. Press for credit. Avoid the PIN. Don't do the PIN because it's counted differently in the federal government and how it's secured. So when you're putting your PIN in, it is counting as cash. It is acting like cash. If you're doing it and you're avoiding the PIN, you're eliminating the PIN and you're using it as credit, it is secured. It's secured because it's insured through the feds. And so that means it's more not only traceable, if you will, but also that it has an extra layer of protection where again, a PIN it's like cash. And so then you're going to be out of luck, unfortunately. So yes, use credit, even on those debit cards.
Good info.
Yeah. So, I think I would just add, Teresa, too, a couple of additional tips as well. Making sure our software is updated when we're using our computers and our phones. Obviously, we want to use strong passwords and unique passwords and we're all guilty of this, and I'm so very guilty. So I'm preaching things that I even have difficult doing. And this is what we're all kind of creatures of habit, right? And so, but, really taking the extra time to have unique passwords and considering a password manager even is a really good way to just keep an extra layer of protection. And that's what we're trying to do, keep an extra layer of protection. And then I'm so happy that you're all here because that means that you're being informed and you're staying up to date on the latest scams. And so continue to do that, please. And again, before you donate or you give a donation, you are giving money, please just verify that those are legitimate organizations and charities that you want to give to.
Okay.
So yeah, be cautious out there, everybody, but you're doing a great job and continue to do that. So, all right. So Teresa, you asked me questions, so I'm going to turn the table to you. Okay. Okay. So I talked a little bit about this, but I think we need more on this. What should someone do when someone receives an email that looks suspicious? Like, how does it, what does that mean, do you think, when it looks suspicious? And what do we do when we receive stuff like that?
Well, if you do receive something that looks suspicious, such as your email, don't click on those links. Courtney has almost preached this thing. I think she says it in her sleep. Do not click on any links. And don't download attachments. And as she said, we are creatures of habit. The first thing we want to do is see what that attachment had in there. And a lot of times that's where we fall prey, if that's the word, if we can use that word. And like she said, I have to remind myself too, and we're fraudlettes, and we still do, and we still make these mistakes. So we don't ever want anyone to think that we're assuming you don't know, but we also, just in case, because even though it's there, like she said, we're creatures of habit. It's like, what's that download for? So just please be careful of not clicking on the links or downloading attachments. But what you can do is verify, hovering over that email address, and contact the company directly using a known or a trusted method. I have found for myself, for instance, I have seen things and I'm like, oh, I'm going to, and all of a sudden it will hit me and I'm like, let's just call. And you can Google you can Google some of these companies, well, really all these companies, if they're legit, and reach out to them directly. That's what we suggest.
Great tips. Okay, so I don't know about you, Teresa, but I mean, it's where I'm in full shopping mode, right? I mean, it's I'm giving some gifts. Okay.
Yeah.
I have done basically almost all of my shopping online. I don't know if I should admit that or not. And I think it's a good thing because it's just more convenient, right? But
oh yeah,
I'm shopping online. So how do we ensure that the websites that we're shopping on are secure? What do we need to look out for?
You know that HTTPS that is at the beginning of website addresses? Look for that. And there's a padlock icon in the browser address. I'm looking right now because I wanted to click on something, but then, I'll lose y'all and then I'll be wrong. But look for that HTTPS at the beginning of the web address and the padlock icon that's in the browser's address bar. Now, what this does is these indicate that the website uses a secure encryption to protect your information. So check on that each and every time. If you have to, because I'm a note girl, so put that, and honestly, on my personal computer, I have that written down because we've talked about it so many times because we get excited. And like she said, it's Christmas time. I'm playing everything I can think of back there, about we wishing you a Merry Christmas and all this good stuff. And we get in that spirit and then we're like a click away from, so just really be careful.
Yeah. And I want to just share a personal story if it's okay, Teresa.
Sure.
So, again, shopping online, and I was even on, I'm getting a lot of, ads and whatnot, even on Facebook.
Yeah.
Cause I'm a Facebook user and I saw something that looked like a gift my daughter would like. And so I clicked on it and I'm kind of looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I think I want to buy this. And I didn't know the company. It wasn't like, a regular company, if you will, that, stood out. And so I was very close to purchasing. And then it's like my fraudlet mind stepped in for me and was like, wait a minute, I need to make sure and verify that this is correct. And this is like a legitimate company because I've not ever heard of this. And this is kind of probably more mom and pop, but, I want to make sure. And sure enough, it did not have that S at the end. And I did a little extra digging at that point and really looked. And sure enough, it was not. I would have not only given money that I would never get back, but I would not have gotten the product I was trying to buy either, right? Or the gift. So it stopped me. So it happens, right? So we need to triple check because something looks really attractive sometimes, like this is going to be the greatest gift, my person's going to love this, or I love it, or I want it for myself, and you want to buy something and it happens. And then the only other thing I'll add is I bought a lot on Amazon and I received a couple messages after on my email about not my purchases, but about Amazon purchases in general. It wasn't what I purchased, it was other things. And so I think that we're getting a lot of email after, we're again, looking at these types of sites, even purchasing something, and just be really careful because it's just the heyday right now of criminals trying to get money and scam people. So I'm seeing it. And if I'm seeing it, I'm sure everybody else is too. So just wanted to share that piece.
And one thing that I might add to that, as we are ordering all these things, we need to be careful as well. I don't know about you if you've received any, but I'm getting all these little messages, which now I'm telling on myself that I've been ordering stuff online. Messages about my stuff is either not lost or it's delayed.
Yes.
Delivery delays and by UPS and they're using these names. You have to be very, very careful about that because I've noticed it's with quite it's coming up more and more. I used to not see it like during the rest of the year, but now that it's holiday time, we're getting, I just got one today that says, you're getting, I'm sorry, but your package will not be delivered by this particular date. You need to click on this link and it will give you more information. I'm like, do not.
Do not.
That information.
No. So like, and I've had that through Amazon before. So that's one of those Amazon scams. So how you figure out if in fact your package is delayed or lost or whatever the situation might be, go into your Amazon account. So don't click the link, as you know, go into the Amazon account and see like, oh, here, let me look at my orders. Okay, here's my order that I just got, information on saying it's delayed. And then you're going to see if it's really true or not, because it's actually within your account and you know if it's really real or not.
Right.
Don't click on the links. Yeah.
Right. Because I don't think that FedEx or UPS would really be calling you or reaching out to you. How do they know what you ordered?
Right.
So, I mean, that's the main thing. Sometimes we have to stop and think about it. How would FedEx know that I ordered something from Amazon? They don't.
They don't. Exactly. Yep. 100% agree with you. Okay. So we know that we've been scammed. It's happened. Right. And if someone feels or suspects that they've been scammed, what happens? What do we do? What should we do?
Well, if you think that you've been scammed, report it to your bank credit card, especially if you purchased it with your credit card. There's always a number on the back of your credit card. Call that number and tell them exactly what has happened. Do it immediately. Don't wait. Do it immediately. Also, you should report that to the Federal Trade Commission or your local law enforcement. They will help you. Fortunately, I haven't had that happen, but I have had things that did not come, and I've had to report it to the bank credit card company, and they will put a hold. So do it immediately, because once you get billed for it and stuff, well, of course, there is a recourse, but it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And in fact, actually, this was a couple of years ago, but I had our bank, my bank, call me and say, hey, are you in Target right now in New York? Right. I live in Illinois, but there's somebody trying to use your card and try to, take out additional credit in my name. So my bank saved me, nothing, I was responsible for, if you will. But I think that there are a lot of fraud. I think banks and credit card companies are so much better in kind of recognizing that. In fact, my husband and I made a pretty big purchase recently, and they put a fraud alert on it. Called us. We knew it was legit. Like, we understood. We received information. We made sure it was a legit thing, and they were contacting us, and they were confirming if this was in fact a purchase we made, which it was. So that was fine. But we had to do an additional step to be then using the card at a later point as well, because they had stopped the card from having any additional activity on it.
Yes.
I can honestly say, I think that we're getting better as just a society and those companies to help in fraud. But we have, just like you said, we have to contact our companies immediately if we think, we have sent some money or we've been scammed or anything like that. It's just better, handle it right up front. And of course, going to local law enforcement and, again, reporting it is such a big part. So good tips, Teresa, very good tips. Okay, so I have another question. So we talked about this a little bit, but I think this is worth just considering our time that we're in right now. People are so wonderful in giving and being so charitable at this time of year, especially. So are there any signs that a charity might be a scam? Like, how could someone identify if a charity was real or not?
Well, a lot of times I've had charities reach out to me. And you just have to be very careful, especially if they're saying, we need you to donate. You need to donate within this particular time. We've got a drive going on, and it has to be, and it's going to end by 3:00. Your money will double if you do it at this time. Don't get pressured into donating your money. Our money's valuable to us. So don't let people pressure you. Also, ask some questions. Ask them detailed information about what's their mission. What's their finances? Or where are these monies actually going? If they don't have that information, or if they ask you for donations in cash, once again, gift cards or wire transfers, don't do it. Actually, what you should do is introduce them to Cousin Click, and that's hang up. That's Cousin Click. So reliable companies, organizations that are asking for donations, they won't pressure you. They're not going to ask you for things. They're not going to say, can you send cash? They're not going to say, we need you to send a gift card. They're not going to ask you for your Venmo. That's another thing that I found, that they're asking people, what's your Cash App? The easiest way for us to do it is no. Once you've given that, you might as well just open up your bank account, because that's what's going to happen. So be very, very careful. Top thing, research the charity. That's pretty easy to do. You can go through resources like the Better Business Bureau. They have a Wise Giving Alliance, or a charity navigator. So those are things that you can do on your own before. Number one, say, you know what, I'd love to give, but right now I need to check out a few things. And what's a number I can call you back at? If they tell you, well, we don't really have a number, you can't get hold of us because we're on this secure line or whatever. Nah, that's another giveaway. So just be careful.
Agree. Awesome tips. I will add one additional tip. There is a website, a charity.org, O-R-G, and you can search a charity to see if it's a legitimate organization. There's a search engine, and they will then show also the details of that charity, in the sense of how much do they spend on their administrative costs, how much actually goes to maybe servicing the people they're trying to serve, whatever the type of charity that it is. It gives more detail on that. So you can really, again, look and see if a charity is not only, a legitimate charity, but also, what they actually do too. So love it. Okay. So we talked a little bit about this as well, but I think this is important to go over, especially when we're online. How do we protect our personal information online? Want to make sure that people really get that.
Well, those passwords that say 1, 2, 3, I love my dog. We have to be careful with our passwords. I know it's really easy just to put down something super easy. Don't put your address in there. Don't put your birth date as your password. You need to use some strong, unique passwords for your accounts. I laugh when I'm saying this, is because I can be guilty sometimes, because I'm thinking I need to remember what the password is. And so if I'm using some strong, unique password, how am I going to remember that? Well, here's the thing. You can be careful where you write your password as well. Don't put it on the back of your phone, please. But you'd also need to enable a two-factor authentication. So, and then avoid sharing information on social media. We are social media hounds. Not that I'm calling anybody a dog, but I'm just saying, be careful, because we get out there on social media and we tell stuff that we really have no business telling. And sometimes it is that sensitive information. So now regularly, and I can be guilty of this, I forget to do this, update your privacy settings. And as I said, and be mindful of what you post. So I don't know, Courtney, if you have something else to add to that.
I will add, my husband and I are like, I've got kids, right? And my kids are, basic, like I have 2 teenagers and one that's a preteen, right? And
lucky you.
I know, and all girls too.
I'm afraid for you.
However, when we are online, or our kids too are online, and say we are going on vacation, you're not telling on social media that we're gone on vacation. You want to take pictures and you want to show those pictures, you do it after we get home.
Yes.
If there's a picture, if we were taking a picture outside of the front of our house, because that happens for sure, our address should not be in those pictures. Like we do try very hard to add these kind of other safeguards. Like, just, you don't have to give everything. And I know we want to usually show all the good, right? That's usually how social media works. We show a lot of good. And that's great. That's wonderful. People do probably want to see your wonderful pictures from your lovely vacation you just had. However, you want to be very safe when you're sharing, again, just like you said, it's very sensitive information, things that have, your birth date. So even your profile, if you could click on, someone could click on your profile. If you're giving like where you work and what your birthday is and your address and all these things, where you went to this and that, and the last place you visited or whatever. I mean, it's a lot of information to be out there for the ether. And so I think we don't have to share everything. Okay. And when the things you do want to share, that's perfectly fine. Just do it in the most safe ways possible. Don't give things you just don't have to give. Right. And sometimes we just don't have to share everything. So that would be my 2 cents. So,
and I love that. I'm going to say it again. I love that about the vacation. So often we take these vacations and we just want to show people where we are. It's not bragging. We're just excited about where we've been. And this was a beautiful monument or blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, and then you're going to be gone for a week or 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, you've just given it away. So just be careful. They can, guess what? Those pictures and that monument is just as beautiful when you get back home as it is while you're there.
I hear you. I absolutely agree. Well, any other final thoughts, Teresa?
Well, kind of what we were just saying, be vigilant, stay informed. By doing so, you can enjoy a happy holiday season. Just think about, and I know every time you're on vacation or you're just shopping online or whatever, the first thing that comes in your mind is not like, what if this happens? But what we're like, the reason we come on every month is because we care. We care about what happens to you. And we just kind of want it to be something that's like maybe right there at the back of your mind that when you're doing these things, it's like, oop, what did the fraudlettes say about this? But it's important because so many times our goodwill is sometimes met not with others' goodwill. So remember, though, that the best gift that you can give yourself and your loved ones is peace of mind.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Teresa, this is our 12th one because we've done one all year, and it's been a pleasure, and I can't wait for our 2025. So we have so much more work to do and so much more things to share, everyone. So thank you for being a fraudlette with us. And Teresa, it's always a pleasure, and just happy holidays to you and your family.
Thank you, Courtney. I feel the very same way. So as I said earlier, we care about what's going on with you guys, and there's going to be some information that you'll see that we're sharing. So you have anything happens, and the best thing is when we don't hear from anyone, because we know that you kept safe. So, but saying that, we do want to hear from you. We want to hear good stories from you. So, but it's those sad ones and those other ones. So if you have anything you want to share with us, and I'm going to let Courtney close, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear your good holiday stories. And
absolutely.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much, Teresa. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Happy holidays to you and your families. Thank you, Teresa, for this enlightening conversation always. And remember, everybody, the power to create positive change lies within each of us. So please join us in 2025. We are going to be the last Mondays of each month at 10 a.m. Central. So please join us into the new year. We are going to be talking all about in January some new gift card legislation that's going to be pending. So we're going to be talking a lot of advocacy in the beginning of the year next year. So thank you for joining us. We look forward to We look forward to continuing our mission of supporting older adults, caregivers, the entire aging community in Illinois and beyond. For more information regarding anything we certainly have talked about, anything as it relates to fraud, you can call AARP AARP's toll-free hotline on fraud, which is 1-877-908-3360. That's 877-908-3360. Or you can visit our website at aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork. That's aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork. If you'd like more information about AARP's upcoming virtual events, including our Fraudlette events, you can visit aarp.org/il. We really do hope you have a most wonderful day, the most wonderful holidays, and this concludes our event. Stay